Welcome into the show once again. We are here in between the October and November windows. A lot going on. I am knee-deep in MLS Cup playoffs, and I say that with the highest amount of bliss as possible because I love it. More games. We also had some big news about Saudi Arabia in 2034. I was going to do a video about that, but I'm going to hold off for now. Because as you are abundantly aware, I've always told you to be part of the show. I encourage people to give me ideas here on YouTube, maybe over on Twitter, Max Bredos Sports, maybe on my Instagram, mbredos, maybe on TikTok, which I'm not on enough, but in 2024, I promised you more TikTok. I don't know if that's a good thing for all of you out there, or for me, quite frankly, but more TikTok, because it is the future after all. But I've asked people, get involved. What do you want to talk about? And I got a very interesting tweet. I'll call it a tweet. What else can we call it, to be frank? And I got it from inmate PO 1135809. So this person could be in jail, and he's watching my videos, which gives me a lot of comfort. And I'm pulling for you, inmate. I am pulling for you to get out of incarceration and live a full life, because you seem like a good dude with some great ideas. If in fact you are in jail, your handle suggests that you are. Max, would love to see you do on your YouTube channel a USMNT all-time best. All the best in one lineup. Who would it be? I think it starts with Tim Howard in goal, and I'll let you finish. Parentheses, honorable mention to Shep Messing. Was he even American? Shep Messing was American. I know Shep pretty well. He's not going to be in goal for my USMNT 11. And you put Tim Howard there, but I will say that's not the wrong answer. But if you look at every position here that we will break down, and I am going to break it down, so I appreciate you sending me that tweet. If you look at every position, it really is 2 or 3 options. And I know the younger generation wants me to put in the current group, and we just can't. I'm looking forward to, after the 2026 World Cup, to redoing this with a couple more USMNT current players. There is one in my 11th. I'm sure you know who it is, but perhaps there could be more. That said, there's only 2 or 3 options at every position. Center back, full back, central midfield, wingers, forwards. Unless you want to get really cute, which we're not going to get cute, although there's nothing wrong with that. Goalkeeper is different. There are 4 potential options that you could choose. There really are. That was our strong point. And for some of you new to the game, we just developed world-class goalkeepers. We don't do that now, but maybe it's cyclical and it comes back. I look forward to that. So today on the Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG on YouTube. Check out the Soccer OG podcast, where all podcasts are available. I have a new episode out I know you will enjoy. Joined by Lutz Pfannenstiel, who is the sporting director of St. Louis City in Major League Soccer, but he is also one of the most interesting people in the sport of soccer. He is the only man to play on all 6 continents. He's played on 17, 18 different clubs, and now he's here in the United States helping build our game, helping build our league. So we had a really interesting conversation. I mean, who else can better talk about the world of football than a man who has played on all 6 continents? And he's a really interesting person, and funny and witty. So check out the Soccer OG podcast, where all podcasts are available, for that latest episode. Like and subscribe us here. Smash that like button so you can get more great videos like this one as we break down my all-time USMNT 11. And again, we are in diapers as a nation, but we have made some incredible progress, right? It used to be we didn't even qualify for World Cups, but over the last 30, 40 years, we're in it, with one exception. We have had some famous victories along the way, not just against Mexico, Confederations Cup, World Cup, you name it. So this is deserved. To make this list means you are the bull of the woods. So I'll go ahead and give you my 11, and then we can start arguing. And again, 2027, it's going to look different. I think Serginho Dest could be on here, Anthony Robinson. There could be some push at the fullback position. I almost put Flo Balogun just on potential, because the forward situation is a little thin. 2 really good options, maybe 3, but Balogun could certainly get in the mix. I would have put Gio Reyna. Well, you can't put Gio Reyna in here for the simple reason that those that came before him are so good. Those are where the best players reside, right? That it would be lunacy to put Gio Reyna in there. But maybe one day. We're not saying never, but not right now. So here is my starting 11. I get to pick the formation, and I'm picking a team and a formation that I feel will give me the best opportunity to get results in big games. So here we are, a 4-2-3-1. My goalkeeper is Casey Keller. You can't go wrong with any of the 4 options. You really can't go wrong. So you're thinking, you mentioned Tim Howard. Casey Keller is my choice. The other ones are Brad Friedel, and who am I missing? Tim Howard, Keller, Friedel, Tony Meola. All worthy here. There is no argument if you want to make one, if you have any of those 4 names, that I would argue it. If it's someone else other than that, we have an argument. Back 4, from left to right, DeMarcus Beasley, Carlos Bocanegra, Marcelo Balboa, Steve Cherundolo. My engine room, 2 in that midfield, Michael Bradley, Claudio Reyna. I don't know why I'm doing this. 3 across, just underneath the forward, Clint Dempsey, Landon Donovan centrally, Christian Pulisic out on the right. And Josie Altidore is my center forward. Maybe controversial there, but Josie had put up the numbers. Maybe on the club game, he didn't quite excel where others did, namely Brian McBride, but he is a big. So let's get into it. Goalkeepers, I have Casey Keller, who did so much at the youth ranks that I think could do it. And the big World Cup in 2002, Brad Friedel was the goalkeeper. Casey Keller, that was the problem. Those 2 came around at the same time, and Friedel was part of that incredible run. So he didn't have that great World Cup moment because he had to share that space with Brad Friedel. Tim Howard had that great World Cup moment where he saved, 16 saves against Belgium in 2014, the greatest goalkeeping performance in American soccer history, one of the greatest goalkeeping performances in World Cup history, where the U.S. almost won that game. Crazy to think about that. Casey Keller, most caps, I believe, of the keeper may have been passed by Tim Howard at the time, and then the club playing at Millwall, Leicester, Spurs, Dortmund, every continent. He was just good. And if you talk to Casey, not to take anything away from him, Tim Howard was intense, Brad Friedel was intense, but Casey Keller was another level. Still talk to him all the time. Maybe I'm putting in here because I'm afraid if I don't, I have to answer to him. Then maybe there's something to that as well. DeMarcus Beasley's a left back. This is a guy who reinvented the position, 126 caps at a very early age at the youth ranks, was there with Landon Donovan, continued to go, versatile. You could almost play him on the left wing. He was such an advanced type talent that we had in this country that we've never really had. So DeMarcus Beasley, to me, and I know I was thinking about putting Carlos Bocanegra, who I put in my 11 to make room for someone else at center back. Greg Vanney is another choice. He doesn't get enough respect. Greg Vanney, man, not just as a left back, played in Europe. His left foot was a weapon. He hit a ball with such ferocity. Look it up on YouTube if it's out there. Center backs, Marcelo Balboa, Carlos Bocanegra are my partnership. Bocanegra, a great leader, and Marcelo Balboa, another just tough as nails guy. To this day, I see him in the broadcasting form. He's the kind of guy that if there's a bar fight breaking out and you see him next to me, you're like, yes. Not that I get into bar fights, but I'd be happy. 127 caps. Balboa played in 3 World Cups. Scored some goals, too. And he had, I think, that famous bicycle kick with the Rapids, which wasn't a goal. That the fact that he even tried it just shows you the mettle that he is made of. Carlos Bocanegra could score goals, too. 14, I believe, in total. Also over 100 caps. I like my center back pairing. And there's 2 different eras represented there. Because some would go Balboa and Lallis. And I go, I think that's a little too 90s. And I really believe Bocanegra played in the best era. Part of the reason I'm doing this is all the conversation about which team was better, 2022, 2014, 2002. Bocanegra kind of pieced together those 2 early 2000s. So I like his contribution. Steve Cherundolo is a lockdown at right back. He was playing in Europe and excelling in Europe when none of our American players were doing that. He was involved in a couple World Cups, spanning the generations, now doing great as a coach at LAFC. That's got nothing to do with his selection, his coaching, or the fact I work for LAFC. He was just lights out. He was perfect. The Germans were like, at Hanover, like, is this guy American? This kid from San Diego? We're going to play him every game. And Hanover was a first division team back there. So he makes it. Let's go to the midfield. And I will not have any bad talk on Michael Bradley, because I posted something about what he is doing, or his career, and the fact that he's working with his father and Stabæk, and people are going, nepotism. I go, look, there's no nepotism when it comes to playing soccer. Either you're good or you're not. You can get helped by your family to put you in that position, but Michael Bradley was on his own when he finally made it to the national team. And I would like to see him as a USMNT coach because of the wealth of knowledge that he's developed, and he's already post-retirement getting into coaching. Keep an eye on that. Michael Bradley could be a nice choice for us down the road. Again, a modern footballer who can play deep. I have him a little bit deep. I might need a little more defense in my central pairing because although Claudio Reyna and Michael Bradley can do the job for you, they win ball, they distribute ball, you may need a ball winner like a Tyler Adams in there who could make this 11 in 2027. Let's see how that develops. But I'm going to play Michael Bradley at the 6. He is one of the best memories we all had when he scored at the Azteca. 151 caps, technically gifted when we weren't technically gifted back then. 17 goals along the way, and had a 2-decade-plus career. I called his first goal that he scored against Switzerland. I was there for Fox Soccer in Basel when he scored his first goal. I had no idea he would excel into this. Well ahead of the curve. He used his familial lineage to his benefit. Claudio Reyna, the first generation of a great two-generation in this game. 112 caps. Another one who Europeans were like, whoa, who's this guy? Americans aren't supposed to look or play like this. Captain our team. He'd probably be the captain for my team here as well, keeping all of recent activity out. Still an incredible talent and leader. And a guy who can make every pass, a guy who can get you some goals and move forward. I would love to see, we didn't see Bradley and Reyna too often, but to see that connect would be exceptional. And count me in. So now to the most exciting part, the attacking quartet. We have our traditional forward, and then we have the 3 right behind him. Maybe I could have put in another midfielder to protect my defense, but I'm going for it. And I wanted all 3 of these guys in. It is Clint Dempsey, Landon Donovan, and Christian Pulisic. You cannot have a USMNT 11 without the co-leading goal scorers of our country, Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey. Scoring goals, important goals. They just didn't give a you-know-what when they were playing. And the conversation still is, it might change, who is the greatest American player of all time? It's either Landon or Dempsey. Different players. I enjoyed the Landon Donovan on Kicking It on CBS Sports Golazo. I'm going to check out the whole video. I've seen some clips. But it's a great show, and I love how they're catering to us, our American audience. So check out, well done, Paramount, CBS Sports, for doing a show like that. And Clint Dempsey, when Americans were still viewed in a very negative way, was making breakthroughs at Fulham and the Tottenham Hotspur. I think the transfer fee was $4 million or something for him, which is such a joke. Because realistically, and Clint Dempsey had a late start. Remember, he went to college at Furman, several years with the New England Revolution before making the jump. He was a late bloomer. And we've got to protect our late bloomers. Playing well at 25, 26, 27 is not a bad thing. We should not turn away because these guys aren't teenagers if they're just getting started. Clint Dempsey's a perfect example of that. Fearless. In a realistic world, he's a $20 million footballer, even in his mid-20s. And then I would be, in that position, I think I could push him up with Josie to get some more goals. Landon Donovan goes without saying, 157 caps, 57 goals, and scored, so many big goals. There's Landon Donovan, whether it was the World Cup, the Confederations Cup, 02 World Cup, 2010 World Cup against Algeria. Should have been there in 2014. Should have been there. And I don't want to get into the muddy waters there, but something prevented that. But we look back at that World Cup. Landon Donovan should have been there. And maybe if he was, we beat Belgium. He was the best. And the argument is, and there really shouldn't be an argument, he didn't play in Europe. He played a little bit. He got a taste. It wasn't that he couldn't compete there. He didn't want to. He was comfortable in the United States. There's nothing wrong with that. Make your money and play there. And so be it. If that was affecting his game, people would say, oh, he could have been this higher. No, he hit his heights. That's just the way the guy he was. Landon Donovan was a spectacular talent. So you have those two. And imagine those two with Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic, not going to list his caps here. He's just getting started. Hasn't had that great World Cup moment. Did have the goal against Iran where the ball hit his privates and it went in. He'll score better goals for us. But you can see in 2023, he's hitting his targets. He's staying healthy. And by the end of it, he's won a Champions League. And now he's playing for AC Milan. Nobody will touch him. And almost nobody can touch him right now for his club prowess. Winning a Champions League, playing in a Champions League, and now playing at high level. I mean, he's going to be with Milan for a bit and maybe goes to another big club at some point. So, Christian Pulisic, the one contemporary that makes my team. And then you have Jozy Altidore. I love Jozy. When it was the Confederations Cup or the World Cup, he scored some big goals, got held up on his club level. You could probably put Brian McBride. You could probably put Eric Winalda in there. You could possibly put Flo Balogun, as I said earlier. Jozy Altidore, with the skill set, the physicality, he is... I get excited when I was doing this 11, and I was wondering which forward, as much as I love Brian McBride, but to put Jozy out there with his developed body when he's in his mid-20s, that was pretty exciting. So there you go. That's a good 11. Take a look at it again. Pretty solid. The Soccer OG. Reach out. Maybe I like your idea, just like my friend the inmate. Reach out to me so I know your real name. I'm sure you'll watch this video. I don't want to make light of any situation. But drop a note, drop an example of what we could talk about. We'd be happy to do it here on the Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG podcast where all podcasts are available. We'll be back more with some interesting topics. You name it. November window just around the corner too.